I really like to wait for people to come in, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get started because I got some other stuff I gotta do. I want to make some more videos here for my YouTube channel, but my other one. But and to those who are sub, thank you so much. So I wanted to share my plants with you guys. I want to show you guys my plants. I have, well, I don't know, should I say three or four? One, two, three, but I have one where like the branches were coming off the one. I'll show you guys that one and how I showed it the other time I was on here, but I want to show you the plant, I mean the leaves that are coming forth and everything. That's just like so amazing to watch. Now, my background with plants. When I was younger, I hated plants. Well, I can't say I hated them, but I just didn't like them. I didn't like all that foliage. I didn't like none of that stuff. So, like back in the day, like I remember we would go to the store like Kmart or something like that, and they would have all the plants in there. And when we go over to that section, I always felt itchy, and I was like, "Ew, I can't stand these plants." I just didn't like them when I was younger. But as I got older, I don't know, you get older, things change. So I wanted a plant when I was in graduate school. I was in seminary. I went is in Atlanta, okay, at the Interdenominational Theological Center, as part of the AU Center. So what was it? Was that my senior year? It might have been. I can't remember if it was. And thank you for everybody that's come in. I can't remember if it was my second year or my third year. But anyway, I wanted a plant. I just saw a plant, didn't know anything about the plant, didn't know what it was called or anything, and I got it. I don't even remember where I got it from or anything. But I remember I stayed for this every summer. I stayed in Atlanta. And one time I was coming home, for a couple of weeks. I think about 2 weeks. It was about 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. So it's so hot in Atlanta. In the summertime, it was just ridiculous. So I had the air conditioner on. Well, I left. And my plant was sitting on the windowsill, and right below it was the air conditioner. I left the air conditioner on the whole time that I was gone. And I came back and I was like, oh shit, my plant. I didn't know anything about plants. That plant was just fine. And I was like, this plant is strong. I didn't know about how often to water it. All I knew was feel it. If it feels dry, water it. And I'm still learning plants. But anyway, it didn't die. It was great. And the lady who raised me, she told me, she said it's a pothos. Those plants last a long time. All right. So anyway, I've always, whenever I wanted plant, I'll always get a pothos. So when I was in my grandmother's house, like the way the house was set up, those houses were really close together, and the way the house was set up, my house was a duplex, but it was a side by side duplex, not up and down. But my house, the way it sat, it was always the house that was like, it was the last, seemed like, on that block for the snow to melt. Okay. And I was like, why is this? So I kind of looked and I was like, the way it sat, it was like shade. Okay. The way the house was, it was, I don't know. I don't know the landscaping or whatever, if it was on some kind of slight incline or whatever. But I looked one time in the summer and I could see it's shaded here. So that's why your house is the last house for the snow to melt. So if you hear some thumping, that's my washing machine. So anyway, I can't remember when when I finally got a plant in the house, but what I started doing was I had redecorated and everything, a beautiful glass table. So I would always get flowers and just have a bouquet, on a beautiful vase. And sometimes I would take pictures of it and post it when I had my Facebook way back in the day. So anyway, I was like, there's nowhere in here where I could really put the plants by the window. That's what I felt, because a lot of times I would have my couch up against the window. Okay. Which I don't know if that was the safest thing in that neighborhood, but I never had a problem. So anyway, it finally hit me out. My room upstairs on the second floor, it was a master bedroom. So I had, big, windows right in the front. And it hit me one day, you can put your plants up here. I really didn't want to put the plants, in that room like that, because my grandmother, when she had the house, when she lived on that side, like the back room, well, I don't know if you call it the back room. It was the first room as soon as you went up the steps. Somewhere along the line in the history of that house, somebody, I don't know if my grandparents did it, I don't know who did it, but somebody built on, what do you call it, an extra room on both sides. Like when we lived on the other side when I was growing up, that was my bedroom. So it's like I had two rooms in one. But anyway, so on my grandparents' side. So my grandmother, it was just windows back there. She had all the plants back there. And I really liked that because I'm like, well, you can't see the plants. I want to see the plants. And then when we moved in there, that was my daughter's room, and I wasn't going to have plants in there. I let the whole space be for her. So finally, at one point, after a lot of years and me dying for some plants, I went and got a whole bunch of plants. I didn't even know what they was called, honey. And I put them all in that room, in my bedroom, by the window. Some of the plants just didn't make it, okay, because I really didn't know what I was doing. Okay, I'm still learning. So then when I left that house, I took the plants that did make it. I took the plants with me, and had a window that they were set by. They did okay. Then when I left to go to New York, I got rid of the plants, of course. Okay. So when I came back, like I said, I was staying and it was an apartment, but it was an attic in a house, third floor. And I was like, I can't have no plants up here. But I did. I got a pothos, and when I got it, it was beautiful. And I didn't get it until after maybe my first year in there. I was like, you can have a plant right here, because the rooms are pretty big. And I had this beautiful, beautiful pothos that I still have it. You're going to see it today. That just really didn't make it the way I wanted it to. There was light in there, but I had a heater in there, and sometimes the leaves would be burnt to a crisp from the heater. I just was not really good with the plant. But when we left and moved where I'm at now, I was like, I'm not going to get rid of this plant. I'm going to revive this plant some kind of way. I'm going to repot this plant. Never repotted anything before in my life. You all are going to see it. For people who know about plants, you're going to see it. And I Googled, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I got the right kind of soil or anything. But the thing about it is that's awesome is you're going to see it budding. The leaves and stuff are coming through. Oh, I'm so proud. So where I'm at now, I got a lot of windows, got a lot of light, which I love a lot of windows, and I love a lot of light. I love it. So I was in Walmart because, I'm in the midst of decorating and everything. And as soon as you walked in, there were all the plants. Spring is here, so all the plants. So I'm going to show you the plants that I got. I'm going to show you the pothos that I got and what I did with it. And I'm going to show you the other plant that I got, which I didn't know what it was called when I got the plant. I just picked up the plant because I liked the way it looked. I read the directions on it, and I said, well, I like this plant. Come to find out, it's a peace lily. I love lilies, okay? Because I saw this white thing as it was growing, the plant. I saw this white thing form. I was like, what the hell is that? I know it's not like a leaf because it's not like a green leaf because it's white. Well, I'm like, is this a lily? Is this... I looked at the name. I didn't pay attention to the name when I bought the plant. I just liked the plant. So I looked at the name and said peace lily. I was like, oh my God, I love lilies. And then I got another plant in my living room. I don't know if I'll show you that one because my daughter's up there. She don't like to be shown on camera, not even by accident. Okay, so let me just show you my plants and let me show you what's happening with my plants. Okay, so I am in my bedroom. Okay. I'm going to turn this around. Okay. All right. So this is the, she's my Anubis statue. I got that in Egypt. This is the pothos that I bought here. It was so full. It was so full and so pretty. And look what happened to it. Okay. But I was like, I'm not with this plant. And one thing I learned about plants is it's just like, like when you get a pet or whatever, like sometimes when you get a cat, how you take the cat home and the cat is like gone. You can't find the cat nowhere in the house for like a day or two, and then it appears. It's like, where were you? You know what I'm saying? But what I found with plants is like, even though you buy them from the store or wherever, you're still moving them. You know what I mean? And they're living beings. Like, Stevie Wonder has that compilation he made called The Secret Life of Plants. I had it years ago, but I never really listened to it. And there was a documentary talking about the secret life of plants. And I was like, when you, here, I'll turn it back on me for a second. Like when you buy plants, they're with a whole bunch of other plants, and then you move it, so it's living, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're moving it from its home, taking it to another home. And I'm like, you're moving it away from its friends. You know what I'm saying? Because they are communicating with one another. One thing that I'm doing now is I'm wiping off the leaves. I haven't gotten to the place where I do that with plants, but here, let me show you. So let me turn this back around. Okay, so this is the pothos. Okay, and honestly, it was so full. I didn't do right by it, but I wasn't going to get rid of it. It's really coming together from how it looked when here. I repotted it. As you can see, I don't know if I did it right, but it seems to be doing pretty well. Let me move my Anubis here. So look, y'all, look at the leaves that are coming through, the baby leaves that are coming through. Look, boo 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 boo, and you see them here. Trying to show you guys here what I can see. Some of them coming through here. Oh, sorry, here and whatnot. So it has come. These, are baby leaves, like they're not matured yet, so it's really coming along. See, like, let me show you this right here coming along. Let me see if I can find some more here in this plant. That's all I can really see right now. Okay, see these over here, look at that leaf. All right, so what I did was with some I showed you guys before, what I did back in, was it December, I think, was like this one hasn't, I said, let me see, how you break a plant off and you put it in water and it grows. Well, these were just branches with nothing on them. I said, let me see what happens. So I showed this before. You see the leaf coming through here. This one, nothing has happened yet, but I'm still like, let me just give it a little while. This was what I broke off. Sorry. This is what I broke off and put in. Okay. And when I put it in the water, it was only 3 leaves. Now look at it. Okay. It took forever for the root to come through, but I didn't really know. I was like, why is it taking so long? It's like, it takes time, you know? See it coming through here. See how pretty? So now I got like 1, 2, it's 5 leaves on there. And then we have this one, this baby one coming through. Okay. It's a little mason jar. Now let me show you the peace lily here. Look at that baby right there. I love it. Okay. And occasionally what I do is, let me be careful because it's on a stand. So I'm trying to hold this phone. I don't want the plant to fall over. Okay. This is my peace lily. Now this was the one, look at it. This was the one that I looked up. It was down here, just this one. I was like, what the hell? Because none of these were up or out like this when I bought it. All you saw was the green leaves. So when I saw it, I was like, what the hell? and I looked, I said, oh, so it's a lily. Because I said, is that a lily coming through? Yeah, it's a peace lily. Okay. Now, I have had some leaves. I'm going to sit now. I have had some leaves on it. Yeah, turn yellow. And, I don't pull them off. I don't yank them off. I try to wait until it's weak enough to fall off. Some of them was just completely yellow, but it still was holding on strong. But I just cut it off. I don't even know if you're supposed to do that. Like, I was like, what is pruning? How does that work? So I looked up in Google and I just started kind of cutting those that were like completely dead, but they just wouldn't come off, on their own. So, but I looked at, because I was starting to get discouraged because there were leaves down here that I took off about 3 that were yellow. And so I was getting discouraged. And then right after I threw those leaves away, I looked and I saw these baby ones in here. Look at that. Look, you see the baby leaves all up in the midst of there? And look at this one right down here. Now, I don't know if that one's going to make it. Okay. This is not one I broke off, but that's a baby one you can see, but it's yellow. Look at all those baby leaves in there. Can y'all see them? I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold the phone. So, this, like I said, with this one, the stand is not the greatest stand in the world. You know, you got to be careful with these plant stands. But what I do with this is, I turn it occasionally, maybe at least once a week, so it can get, because I got all this window, all this sunlight here, so it can get all the sun. So I got this one lily here that finally opened. I got another one here, and there's one right here that's gonna open, and I'm pretty sure that might be it. I thought there was more. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not. See, look down there. Look at those leaves, those baby leaves down there. Yay! Oh, here, look. Look at that one. You see that right there? Okay, now let me see. I'm going to go try if my daughter doesn't mind me coming in the living room without the camera on her face. Look at those. Look at those. I mean, it's just so freaking amazing because I told myself that I was not going to have any more plants that died. And I made what I see. So let me see if my daughter, I'll keep the phone on me. So Gaia, I'm coming through. Phone is not on you at all. But, well, it might be. Well, here. I'm going to turn this around so you can see the next one. Okay. This right here. Now, I don't know what this plant is called. It says, let me see. It says foliage. You see a little bug. Foliage ASST assist. I don't know what that means. Okay, but this one right here is tough as nails. If anybody could tell me what the name of this plant is, okay? But this one is really, really strong, okay? And see, I got all this window space right here. Like I said, I'm decorating. So I want to just get like a whole bunch of plants and put them right there. Here, let me back. Turn this around. Okay, that's the end of that. I just wanted to show my plants. What I do with my plants as well is because I was like, I'm not ever going to have a plant die on me again. When I was at Walmart, when I was getting the plant that I just showed you guys in the living room, I went down to pick it up. And this older guy, he looked at me and he said something about the plants. And I said, huh? He said, I want some. I said, well, get you some. And he said, every time I get a plant, I kill it. I said, I've killed some too. I said, but you gotta just keep trying, just keep trying, like become one with the plants, But what I do is too, I talk to them. Okay, so people, you can laugh or whatever, I don't care. I talk to the plants, and every morning I give a nice hug, and I kiss each plant and speak to it, good morning, and everything. Because I remember years ago I was watching something where they were talking about that, and people, it was like on a sitcom, I can't remember which one, honey, and they were laughing at the person who was talking to the plants. I wonder, was it Three's Company? Because that lady Janet, she worked in our shop. I don't remember what show it was. And of course I was a kid, so I thought, oh, that's so silly, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm like, yeah, why not? You talk to that plant, nurture that plant, love on that plant. Just like if you get a dog, a cat, any kind of pet you get, you talk to it. You're like a human being. It's living, So don't just have it there like it's some inanimate object just decorating your room or decorating your house. Of course it is, but it's living. And those plants, do so much for the atmosphere. I think I have to look it up, but I know I've read or heard something about, the positive effects of having plants in your home. Of course, they're beautiful in nature and all of that kind of thing too, but it's like nurture it just like you want to be nurtured. That way it grows, it thrives, So I try to do that every morning, and I really have to pay attention because what I used to do with plants was I had every plant on a weekly schedule, which My thing was every Sunday morning I had my routine, and part of my routine was to water every plant. Well, I realized you can't do that. You can't necessarily. Somebody told me to do that before, but that don't. Well, it ain't working. Not with that peace lily. That peace lily is very. I call that my high maintenance plant. That plant, it can go 7 days without water, but cause one day I woke up, I looked over at the plants, and then that thing was drooping. I said, "Oh hell no, my plant is not about to die," you know. So I went and got some water, and I was like, "But I swear I just watered it like maybe 3 days ago." Well, I read that sometimes those peace lilies will only go like 3 to 4 days, and then it needs water, you know. But looking at it, I mean, it makes sense. Looking at it, how huge the leaves are, how vibrant it is, all of those leaves down in there that's grown. It's like, yeah, it needs, water more often. So I call that my. Everyone got a name. The peace lily's name is what I call that one. Love. The one out that I just showed you in the living room, that one is called Beauty. And I haven't really given a name to my pothos yet, except pothos. Okay. But anyway, I just want to show y'all my plants, and that's that. So when I get more, I'm just trying to determine how many more I want, because like one I had was almost like a tree. It was really tall. I don't remember the name of it, honey. Like I said, I had just got some plants. So I have to, like, it's like you got to really pay attention. Like that peace lily, that gets more than weekly watering. It may get twice a week. You got to really pay attention, because then as soon as that thing needs water, that thing starts drooping. And you thinking, I just watered it like 2 days ago. It's telling you I need water. The pothos can go weekly. A pothos can go kind of, at least in my experience, it can go a little bit longer than weekly, but I try weekly, or maybe like every, week and a half, to make sure I get that pothos watered. That plant out there, I'm not, again, it just said foliage assist. The tag that was on there fell off in transit, from Walmart to my home. That plant can go a long time, without water. Okay. But anyway, that's that. I will keep you up to date. It's like science class when you're in elementary school. Okay. When you would do stuff in elementary school, you would plant stuff, and then they'd sit in the windowsill, and all year long, nothing was happening. And finally, boom, something was growing up out of them cups that we put in the windowsill. So that's what it feels like. I really love the ones in the mason jar, the pothos, watching that happen and watching the leaves come through. But the one branch that doesn't have anything on, I'm gonna keep there for quite a while, just to see, because I'm realizing it takes, time for the process, for it to come through or whatever. All right, y'all. Well, that's the end of that. It's kind of like, it needs sunshine, needs soil, needs nutrients, needs love, needs all of that stuff. All right. So that's the end of that. All right. You all have favor. Peace.